Hello, and welcome to our Joint Army and Air Force ROTC virtual 9/11 ceremony. My name is Cadet Genevieve Martin, the Cadet Command Sergeant Major of the Spartan Army ROTC Battalion. Please go ahead and mute your microphones as we present. Please take a moment to peruse our timeline for this presentation. This morning, 10 cadets from both the Army and Air Force ROTC programs at Michigan State joined together to paint our university rock in remembrance and honor of those who lost their lives and the heroes who served that day and in the conflicts that followed. In this presentation, we will continue to honor them as well as portray the impact these attacks had on both our branches in the military. Please enjoy a short video on the following slide that helps us remember that day.
The two planes flew into the two towers.
Good morning. My name is Cadet McGran. I'll be giving an Army impact speech about 9/11. 9/11 put a big hole in the hearts of the American people. We remember all 2,958 people who died from the attacks. We remember those who lost their lives in the attacks just being who they were and living their life. They all woke up like some were going to work, some leaving home, and some returning home. We remember those who served the people, the ones who lost their lives trying to save others. We think of the passengers on the other planes who sacrificed themselves to crash into a field instead of the White House. They did this out of duty to self and duty to others. they made the ultimate sacrifice to protect people they had never knew. We think of the first responders who hurried over to the towers and the Pentagon to try and put out the fire and save the people trapped inside. When the call came into the fire departments, the first responders didn't know if they would come back or not. They did it out of service to others. They trekked up the stairs to save people knowing that it could be a one-way trip. After the fall of the towers, people walked away covered in dust from the fall, crying and looking in sadness at the rubble and the people who were left below. We remember the ones who cleaned up from the attack. People from all over the nation coming together to sort through the rubble of the attacks and look for survivors. For days, people moved block by block to clear away the mess and try and find survivors and look for loved ones who may not have made it. A country is not a country because of its land, but because of its people. 9/11 created a surge in pride towards the American way of life. People flew flags and mourned as a nation. The country came together and memorialized the attack with the waterfall pool where the Twin Towers once stood. On the border is the name of everyone that had their life cut short that day. Every person that died was part of a family, and those people will always be held in the hearts of loved ones. I've heard a lot that someone is never truly gone because they are never forgotten. We'll never forget the attacks on 9/11. We'll never forget the people who serve us at home or far away. These people do a job that usually goes unnoticed and requires sacrifice. They are the reason we can have a great nation.
I am Cadet Stevens, and I will be delivering the Air Force Impact Speech. On this day, 19 years ago, our nation underwent a trial it would not forget. The hijackings of Flights 11, 77, 93, and 175 were met with tragedy, as in many cases, action was not quick enough to prevent it. On that day, 4 jets were in the air to respond to these threats. The first 2, sent to intercept Flight 11, had not been able to locate the aircraft, as it had already reached its intended target. A flight attendant aboard Flight 11 had reported the hijacking at 8:19. It wasn't until 8:46 that the jets were finally ordered to scramble, just after the North Tower had been struck. There was another airman on the ground, however, and that was Staff Sergeant Jerome Dominguez. He was not in Air Force uniform that day, but in his police uniform. Staff Sergeant Dominguez served also as a member of the New York Police Department's Emergency Services Unit. As one of the initial responders, he had helped evacuate people from Tower Number 2, and as many brave men and women did that day, he lost his life as the tower collapsed. In the case of Flight 93, the time between suspected hijacking and the notification of the military was a chilling 31 minutes. 2 F-16s took to the air with the goal of defending Washington, D.C. They were ordered to destroy Flight 93 by any means. They understood the urgency of the matter and took off before being outfitted with live ammunition. The outcome would be grim, as the only means they had to take out Flight 93 was by ramming the airliner with their jets. That action was not necessary, because before Flight 93 reached Washington, D.C., the occupants of the plane had attempted to retake control. During the struggle, the plane went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, taking the lives of all on board. Those on board Flight 93 understood the risk of trying to retake the plane, and the pilots tasked with taking down Flight 93 understood that this is what it would have taken to prevent the further tragedy that would occur should the plane reach its destination. To this day, the members of the family of those who were on Flight 93 have to visit the museum that now stands near the crash site, as not all the remains were recovered or identified. That is the closest they will ever come to a gravesite. The same goes for those victims who were in the other attacks on that day. The results of the tower collapsing, an even greater number lost, and is why this day is a solemn one, in which each and every American will bow their head in sorrow. It was a deep cut, one which healed as years passed, although 2 decades later, the scar will always remain, and we will never forget.
All right, I just want to say a quick thank you. My name is Ket Cochran, Air Force ROTC. Just thank you for everybody who came to the rock painting this morning. I know that it was unfortunately already painted, but we, put our touch on there, and it was nice to kind of get that joint relations going, and it was good. Also, thank you for everyone on the Army side who put together the slideshow, and thank you to all the 60 people in attendance today to just on this day of remembrance, just kind of be here and remember why we're in the programs that we're in, why we're serving our country, so tragedies like 9/11 can't happen again. Just always be thinking, this day could be your last. For a lot of those people who woke up that day before, they didn't know, but that was their last day. For the families who that was the last time that they're going to see loved ones. So just always keep your loved ones close, let them know how you feel, and don't have any regrets about your day-to-day lives. Live like it's going to be your last, because one day it might. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. If anybody has anything that they'd like to say to kind of like close out, I know this is closing remarks, but if anybody has anything that they want to say, I just really appreciate everybody coming during this time. So thank you very much. So yeah, if nobody has, Lieutenant Colonel Kilker, if you want to say a few words, more than welcome.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. I know that this, I'm just going to speak extemporaneously here. I haven't prepared any remarks, but, 9/11 was, and, continues to be something that we all remember, that we're alive and really cognizant walking around at that time. So it's great that you guys have decided to serve. Many of you that are here are already serving or are getting ready to serve in the military, and this has rocked everybody. Even if you weren't around and you see the videos, it's part of your reality. But for us that experienced it live, whether you were in New York or away, I was actually a ROTC student. I was getting ready to graduate. I had delayed my graduation just to take the time that I needed. I was at Georgia Tech, and this was happening, and it just didn't feel real. It didn't seem that this could happen. This could happen to us, that somebody would do that. It was an accident. What's happening? It was just, and you just feel it in your gut. You feel it in your call to duty. And you guys didn't experience it live, but you feel that call to duty. And I want to thank you for continuing to serve and to continue the legacy of service. We need to take the time to remember these people that, answered the call and went charging into those towers and to save people, to get them out. And, the people that didn't know that their day was going to end that day. I think their legacy lives on from you guys memorializing it like this today. I drove by the rock on the way in, and I was just totally impressed with what you guys did to honor the day. So thank you for taking this charge. It was a short notice. Go do. Very excited that you guys made it all that you did. I'm happy to see it on Facebook and out on Zoom. So thank you for bringing everybody together. I know it's really hard to do this, especially in COVID, but we're going to find creative ways to keep moving forward and honoring these events. So thank you again. Out here.
Hey guys, so Lieutenant Colonel Jason George, Army ROTC chair, and Colonel Kilper just went, so I was going to pop in real quick, just say thanks for doing what you guys did, the effort you put in today, recognizing this. I've got my New York City Fire Department shirt on today. Got a lot of real good friends in the fire department and developed a really good relationship with them after 9/11. doing a bunch of different joint memorials with them up in New York City. We've even got parts of the Twin Towers at my old units. Our memorial we've got on our little campus of our unit. We've got actually Twin Tower metal shaped into the shape of a spear. So really strong relationships. I still talk quite a bit with a lot of those firemen, and I can feel the loss that they suffered with their group, because they're very tight knit, a lot like we are. You know, I was pretty young. I was a lieutenant when all this happened on 9/11. I was in the middle of flying and in flight school, so it was pretty raw. But I ask that you guys take a look at the exceptional stories that have come out of 9/11, as far as the leaders. You can read about the man with the red bandana that went back in multiple times. You can read about the colonels that were retired colonels that were working as bankers that, you know, were already on their way out when the building got hit, and they went back up to the, you know, 11th or 12th floor to evacuate their team, and they went back in again to make sure there was nobody left, and then the towers collapsed on top of them. So there's so many stories of bravery and self-sacrifice that you can read about 9/11 and what happened. So I encourage you guys, you can watch the videos, you can read about what 9/11 and what caused it, but take some time to read about the heroes that truly went into those burning buildings, that, you know, took down the plane, that were working at the Pentagon. Learn about those things. So great job, really appreciate it, and thanks for recognizing it. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We appreciate all the kind words. Yeah, so this is just going to wrap it up. So thank you for everybody coming. You guys are free to leave. Enjoy the day. Always remember, and be safe, everyone.